Rogan has warned that it'll be game over for the human race should robot hookup dolls become more convincingly human-like in their development. Duh. I've been saying this for years.
You know what's wild? I should take a step back because whether it's The Quartering, whether it's Andrew Tate, whether it's the Whatever podcast, Just Pearly Thing, Sneeko, all of these red pill, fresh and fit assholes, every single one of them, they're in the business of keeping men miserable, of making them upset and angry about a lot of shit that doesn't actually in their everyday lives affect them. All right, let's talk about how women are going to be replaced forever, apparently. We're losing women, which sucks because I love women. Women are my favorite. I don't know, when I see a headline or a picture or a thing like this, it makes me think instantly that all this really does is show everyone in real time, in the present, what these people feel and think about women, not what the future of women holds. Right? The future of women is frightening. Apparently women are going to be replaced by AI. And then here's the thing. It's over. It's over. Yeah, it's totally over. What's over? Why do I keep hearing that? Why is it like women are fucked? This is it. It's over. Yeah, it's done. We're cooked. It's like, what are we cooking? What you mean humanity? As in, like, dudes will not be able to resist the fact that you have easy access to online, virtual reality, women interaction-like experiences in a variety of forms. Whether that be I can have a AI girlfriend on my phone that answers questions and responds and laughs at my jokes. Hopefully, I mean, can you up that? Just can we maximize laughs at jokes part? But like, really, what do you mean? As in, like, women's utility as basically either breeding pods or sex objects, if that's gone, well then what use are they? The same thing could be said, like, if you think that, like, hey, by the way, it turns out women can survive in today's modern world. Yeah, you don't need to go to the future. Don't need a time machine right now without a man. You can live without a man. You can survive without a man. It may be harder in different parts of the world, and there may be other ways in which men are trying to oppress you, or you might be oppressed just for being a woman. But for the most part, you know, especially in the West, you can cut out a living for yourself and make it without a man. So if you can do that, if you can without a man needing to provide for you, then what's the point of men? Silver boys, we got to pack it up. They don't even need our seed anymore. Apparently they've got banks. Yeah, massive banks filled with cum. They already extracted all the cum. Yeah, I mean, we were foolish. We should have seen the long-term ramifications of that, you know? They're all like, oh, put your penis in this milking machine. And you're like, oh, did I? And then afterwards, all of a sudden, it's like, well, that was fun, right? Yeah, totally. But then we didn't know that they were actually preparing to remove all men from society. Because they have the cum. They've extracted it. So it's over. It's over. No more.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. And this has been something that I have talked about on this channel for some time. And look,
it's a very serious topic.
Some people have something to say about it. Lauren Southern thinks it's a big joke, and maybe it is. And hopefully I'm still around in a few years where I hope I'm wrong and everyone comes back and dunks on me. I really do. But there has been, I think, an inarguable rise in the amount of men that have willingly chosen to check out of the dating scene. That's, I mean, right? That's irrefutable. Secondarily, there has also been an enormous rise in the, how do you say, options out there, whether it's spicy videos. Okay, it started with that. You know, the overall consumption of that only is on the rise. Then turned into AI girlfriends. If you don't believe me, just...
Oh, sorry, that was that was him saying prawn. He doesn't say prawn anymore. Is that too spicy? Now it's just spicy videos. So yeah, it started out, you know, women were basically replaceable once porn came along. Whichever was the first, you know, caveman to think, hey, I could take that charcoal I see on the ground and then draw boobies on the wall. Whoever did that, they in turn basically beat women and the dating pool itself at that point, because they're like, yeah, well, no longer need women, because again, that I have woman there. That all women is to me is titties. So yeah, woman been replaced.
Do some simple Google searches and look for all of the product, all the people offering effective AI girlfriends out there. Then the banana washer tools start coming out. Giggity. Then the
Again, I don't get where any of this is based on anything. Like, okay, yeah, sex toys exist. Yeah, it's more normalized for men to use sex toys as well. again, that's not single-handedly explaining why people might be dating less, or might be having less interactions, or might not want to even date in general. That doesn't really explain those parts. I know there's a fear, the massive rise in male virginity, and also the lack of male sexual contact, and also that is combining with a lot of other things. It's like, yes, there's probably a lot of things going on, probably a very complicated topic, one in which, there's a number of factors that can contribute towards male loneliness, the inability for men to form and then have lasting connections and relationships, the roles that various factors play, from the difficulty of making it in one's world, jobs, depression, anxiety, all that mixed in with the existential dread of the current day and age, where it's constant bombardment of, we are connected to the rest of the world, but the world is burning, and so it feels bad to be connected to the entire world all the time, 24/7 on our phones and in our lives. That can hurt. All can play a big role, but none of that, not a single part of any of the things I just said relate back to, and that's why women owe you pussy, right? Or that's why you otherwise, you would be getting all the pussy. Like, your pussy cup would run over. It'd be like fucking one of those Axe commercials, where all the women are just chasing that one dude, and he's like, it's like, this is every man's fantasy, to be chased by an army of women. What are they gonna do when they get him? Are they all just gonna try and have sex with him? That would probably kill a man, right? I mean, that's not even the death by snooze you were looking for. But either way, I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what the factors are. You don't want to talk about that. You just want to talk about how, and that's why, because women, in their totality, their value is ultimately the sex objects. Well, if that can be replaced, if a fleshlight feels like a vagina, then what man's ever going to want to talk to a woman? Am I right? What's the point of even talking or interacting with another human being if you're not going to be able to come inside them? My dudes, hopefully you have some guy friends in your lives. Hopefully, either IRL or even, on the internet, but hopefully you have like people that you interact with in one way or another, where you can just interact with them. And you might notice when you do that, and this could be because you're not sexually attracted to men, and that's totally cool. So you're not sexually attracted to men, so you can have relationships with men, and you decide that, hey, I can actually interact with another human being that I don't want to come inside. That's possible with women too. You can also have interactions with other human beings that, even though you could potentially, there is a possible outcome. You could come inside them. Yes, true. But I posit this. You could do it with the fellas too, right? Potentially, you could come inside that man, but because you're not sexually attracted to him, you don't think about that, and that's not even a factor in your relationship with him. You just want to know him to get to know him, to know what he's like as a person. And that's also a beautiful thing. And you could have that beautiful thing with, dare I say, women and other genders as well. You could go out there and you could meet them and you could just interact with other people. It could be all good times. And you don't need to come inside them. I know. I've got all the brave takes today.
The AI bots, like these dolls, we had real dolls years ago, and they were kind of a meme, right? People are like, $5,000 for that. Plus, remember, you got to clean it out. Ugh, right? Now, you're taking those dolls and they're looking more real than ever. And you're attaching AI sentience to them, essentially. Remember the movie Ex Machina? I think that's what that movie was called, Ex Machina. But anyway,
I don't want to disappoint anyone, or especially, hey, I don't want to take away from, if you're having just a legendary gooning session, at the very prospect of very, very shortly, you will be able to interact with 100% sentient AI machines that are so intelligent that they will actually be able to manipulate you with their bodies, even though they're robots. That's what makes it the sexiest thing of all, You don't have to worry about anything into fucking, Bechdel test or any of those kind of things, where it's just like, yes, no, the machine is clearly self-aware, and you have no ability to resist that robotic pussy, the russy, it's there. Like, we're not anywhere close to consciousness. What you're seeing is basically a really cool calculator in terms of AI as it is today. It's a calculator. It's a word, and more than a word, a letter, approximator, right? How can I put the next letter in front of this letter as closely as possible to get it to as close a search as you have put, and one-to-one, and let's try and get a little better at that every time, based on learning and get into gathering and acquiring more and more and endless data. Each iteration of ChatGPT, from the second to the third to the fourth, requires infinitely more data, and we're running out of conversations, of words we've said to each other. So it's not going to be getting as better as you'd hope every year, as fast as you'd think too. It's pretty wild.
The combination of that, parasocial OnlyFans relationships, sinking birth rates, women want to laugh and act like it's not real, but it is real. IRL women are in trouble. Men, humanity is in trouble, first and foremost. You see here, Joe Rogan says, game over for the human race. People making fun of me. This is an article from today.
It also looks like a stand-up routine from a little while ago. But yeah, there's probably, he said it recently, I'm guessing, on the Joe Rogan podcast. Things are over for the human race. Should robot sex dolls become more convincingly human-like in their development? It's been a hot topic in recent years. Hollywood, for example, has everyone from actors, writers, production teams, or even directors at the risk of being replaced by AI, blah, blah, blah. And now will women be replaced by AI? Yeah, if the only thing you're looking for from a woman is a sex pod, and it's easier for you to acquire that sex pod elsewhere, then yes, maybe that will replace the people who are in the market for sex pods out of their women. Then yeah, then women are fucked in terms of the ones who would be, again, in relationships with men looking for sex pods. Yeah. But again, I feel like that's probably going to be more of a limited concept than they're making it out to be. If anything, like I am on the other side of this. I don't want to reinforce or expand or increase the amount of male loneliness. I'd like to decrease male loneliness. I'd like to have more healthy and happy men, satisfied men in all ways, but men who can also be satisfying. I think there's got to be an important part of it as well. It's not simply something that men are owed, right? They're not owed this army of robot vaginas, and should they not get what they want, well then yeah, women are gonna have to cease to exist, or the human race in general will. Again, the same like I just don't hear the same thing in the other direction for like, dudes, our days are numbered. The ladies, they figured it out. They can actually survive like without us. They can survive in modern society without our bread, and then they can also milk us. And they've already done that part, and we just didn't notice, but they milked us, and so there's banks of semen now, so they don't need us to fertilize them, and they don't need us to help support them, so we're fucked. We're deeply fucked. Men are fucked. Now what do we do?
Rogan has warned that it will be game over for the human race should robot hookup dolls become more convincingly human-like in their development. Duh, I've been saying this for years. The implications of advancing AI have been a hot-button topic in recent years. In Hollywood, for example, everyone from actors to writers to production teams and maybe even directors.
Okay, you know what's wild? I should take a step back, because whether it's The Quartering, whether it's Andrew Tate, whether it's the Whatever podcast, Just Pearly Things, Sneeko, all of these red pill, fresh and fit assholes, every single fucking one of them, they're in the business of keeping men miserable, of making them upset and angry about a lot of shit that doesn't actually in their everyday lives affect them. They tap into things that are real, that do affect men. Hey, are you lonely? Are you depressed? Are you sad? Are you having trouble in society? Are you having trouble meeting people? Are you having trouble meeting women? Are you having trouble having sex? Are you having all of this kind of shit? Real. All of that, 100% true, can be completely valid. And then being like, and you know what's doing that to you? Trans people. Yeah, trans kids in sports and shit like that. And wokeness. Yeah, black people, native people. The wokeness represent women. Women are doing that to you too. Women, and they're ruining all the things you love. You like video games? Women are ruining that. You like Ghostbusters? Women ruined that. Yeah, women take everything. They even took beer. They took beer. That was trans women that did that one. Yeah, they took Bud Light away from us. Fucking, the worst. So all these motherfuckers are in the business of keeping people depressed and sad and lonely, and not for the actual things that can make them depressed and sad and lonely. So they get stuck in this shit all the time. And these same gross motherfucking assholes will sit there pretending to care about dudes, while at the same time pushing this idea that, hey, I told you this was gonna happen. You see this? Yeah, women are fucked. Yeah, dudes just gonna choose to fucking, not be with women because women suck. They're the worst. And obviously be with video game women, which is the best. They're awesome. They're controllable and they'll do whatever we want. It's the best. That's why Stellar Blade is an important battle, apparently. That's why it's an important moment in history that we have to fight for.
And 20% of industry roles. During a recent episode of the podcast, Rogan went elsewhere in his own predictions and discussed the possibility of the impact of these robot hookup dolls, or sex bots, although uncanny lifelike in appearance, nevertheless are not sentient. With technology constantly evolving.
Okay, so as of right now, you can, if you want to, or if you seek it out, you can buy having consensual sex with someone with a sex worker. You can do that. Now, there are people who do that, and then there is a market for that, and that market is being both provided for and also being utilized. So there's an additional market, I will agree, no question, for people who may not want to have to actually interact with another human being for a variety of reasons. They can think it's moral, they think it's immoral. They don't think it's cheating if they do it with a robot, because technically it's like doing it with a very expensive sex toy. They don't want to have to worry about I don't know, the potential for catching STDs. A variety of reasons. Certainly there's going to be a market for people who would prefer who never wanted to use a sex worker before, who are going to use something like a sex robot or something. First off, let's slow down the brakes, because no, there's not women walking around in a room that both not only look 100% realistic and real, but actually sound and talk like a real human being. If you look at the most advanced, like, text to speech response rate fucking AI robots kind of stuff, like the stuff you'll see at Vegas in the Dome, for example, it still feels like you're at an amusement park and you're watching an attraction where there's someone there. It's like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, oh, very good. How are you? I'm quite well, thank you. Welcome to the Dome. Where from? And you're like, oh, I'm from Canada. Canada, located in North America. Yes, it's an independent country. It is. And you're like, yeah, okay, so yes, there are people who are going to be buying very expensive sex robots, and as they become more like the sex robots, people are going to spend more money and buy them. This is not going to replace humanity, or all men are going to decide that they want sex robots, or all men are going to decide like, well, fuck women. I got my sex robots. Don't have to worry about that shit. Dare I say there might even people who want to do both, or do multiple things. They're like, oh yeah, sex robots are fun. Also, having sex with my partner is fun. I don't know. The future could be a many splendid thing. But then to say that like, this is the end of it, like shit is fucked. If this comes to pass,
robots.
I mean, this is the only thing women have going for them. It's all they got left. Pussies.
People will put on AI goggles, reality, right? Then you have the banana.
They can have a regular baby. They give you this baby. The baby will stay a baby forever. What if you can just have baby? Like, if I was for artificial intelligence, I wouldn't kill everybody. I would just let them die off. The most humane way to do it is just let them realize they're unnecessary. There's no need to have kids when you can fuck your Jennifer Lopez robot, and that's what they would do. They would just live with the robots, and no one would have real relationships anymore. It would just go away so quick. Then we'd have to start robot babies. So, yeah, like this is what pisses me off, is that I feel like simultaneously these pieces of shit, they're in the market of making miserable, unhappy men who, yes, can be stunted because you keep them in this state where they can't fucking mature. If you were constantly being like, hey, women are evil, women are fucking the cause of your problems, women are trying to manipulate you, women, the whole society is flipped, it's all fucking pro women, blah blah blah, they're taking all the shit you love, they're taking away video games, they're taking away titties, you can't have titties anymore, you're bad for liking titties apparently, you're bad for any of this kind of shit. At the same time, if you're like, yeah, left to their own devices, dudes would just fuck a silicone robot all day. They would just goon inside a robot all fucking day and not do anything, because that's just men. Yeah, men are just fucking cum addicted goon, but like, what? So dudes are just so fucking, basic. All they can do is goon. 20, like, I would like to accomplish something, build a society, if you will, but I got the Jennifer Lopez robot, and I got a goon. It's like, okay, and then after you've gooned, well, I gotta do it again, and then 47 more times today. Yeah, and then I sleep, I rinse, repeat, and we do it all again. That's all guys do, forever.
A washer tool, and you go into the bedroom, and you get, like, if I was an AI, I wouldn't end it. Have these little screens all over their house. It's just like, konnichiwa.
VTube bars are opening in Japan where you can chat with streamers while having a drink. Details below. Yeah. Okay, so in Japan, there's a massive market for companionship. It's a monstrously huge market. I lived in Japan for a while, and I met people whose their full-time jobs were companions. They were not sex workers. They were not paid to have sex with people. They were paid to be their companions. There was people who were paid to simply cuddle rich, or at least women who make a lot of money, and all they would do as a dude is go to their house and cuddle them and get paid for that. There were people women who would go to bars and they would just speak to dudes, and that's it. Their job would be to sit there and have interactions with them, because yes, human beings crave interaction, even if they're working themselves completely to death like you do in Japan. Japanese culture, they literally work themselves to death. There's a word for it that we don't have in English. But yeah, that's the thing. And is there going to be people who do this digitally? Of course. Obviously. There's like, it blew my mind that there is digital concerts. Like, again, where all you need to do is literally hit on and then sit back and collect a stadium worth of people going nuts. Then afterwards be like, cool. Well, we don't have to hire anybody. We don't have to hire backup dancers, staff, sound engineer, nothing. I just had to hit play. It was great. That was, woo, what a great alternative to having to, hire human beings to do this.
ここはどういうお店なんですか？
ここは VTuber と一緒にお酒が飲めるお店です。
じゃあ一緒に飲みましょう。
はい、ぜひ。
Now, do I think that
This counts as my companionship. All right, fine. Well, then in this case, I'm acting as a digital companion to either make you laugh, read the news, or have hopefully a better day in one way or another. Fine, I accept my lot. That's totally fine. But it's also it's normal for people to want to seek companionship and or want to interact with other human beings in one way or another, or even interact with simulations of human beings. Like, again, it's not a new thing. People have been doing this for a while. I saw, like, again, the hysteria over this kind of stuff was maybe like a decade ago when I saw those like news stories that me and like all my friends would make fun of, where it's like a guy in Japan marries his pillow, guy in Japan marries a doll. You'd be like, what a fucking loser. I know, they're literally marrying dolls, bro. And yeah, those people do exist. There are people who marry full body pillows, or people who marry dolls, or things like that. But like, as this version or this replacement for having a interaction with a human being didn't get rid of women. It wasn't like, oh wait, we can do that? I can marry and fuck my pillow? Or all dudes all of a sudden like, what? I could just buy a toy of an anime character and fall in love with that toy and marry the toy, and I don't have to deal with having to, like, my wife, I didn't know. And then all men are just like falling into Toys R Us, like spilling over each other, World War Z style, and all that. Like, no, none of that happened. Again, there are people who are going to, as a result of a lot of different factors, increasingly become more isolated or more lonely. And honestly, we should be talking also about fostering and promoting the idea of addressing male loneliness or male depression or male anxiety and all of these kind of things, and doing so from a perspective where you are not owed anything from women. They are not just like these possessions to be won, and that you're all in competition with one another to win the prize of having X trophy wife. And guess what? Once we figure out a solution to not having to play that game, such as you could just have an AI woman of your choosing, everything will get replaced,
that people will want to do this out in public? I don't know. It'll be difficult to hear and have a conversation, I think. They'll do it in private. Oh, they will do it in private multiple times a day, my friends. They will have these little screens all over their house. They'll have different people there. They'll have different AI technologies. People underestimate.
Yeah, and this is already a monstrously massive field that has been looked in for elder care in Japan, because Japan has a massive problem. They have a increasingly aging population. They don't have a younger generation to replace it for a variety of reasons, by the way. It's not a single thing you can just point towards. Did this happen to the Japanese men first? They realized they could marry body pillows, and then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, then society just collapsed? Or did it have a lot to do with capitalism? A lot more to do with the effective workaholic strategy and this work culture that you see in Japan, where businessmen literally line the streets of the subway stations when they close down at night because they can't get home in time. So they get off work after working an insanely hard day. They get off work, they immediately go to a corner store, they buy whiskey, they get drunk with their friends, and then they black out inside the SkyTrain station, still in their business suits, get up, fucking march, get some quick ass noodles, and then go right back to work immediately. Like, in some cases, not even having changed, spray on some body deodorant, and boom, right back in the work culture. Day in, day out, yeah, it makes it really, really difficult for people to want to have to form relationships, meet other human beings. It can sometimes change the very dynamics of how relationships work themselves and what that is, and the social contract that's supposed to be put towards, you're supposed to become older, get a wife, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you have to juggle between that, your career, all these kind of things. Like, there's so many different factors. Line does go up, too.
People underestimate the power of the human mind. Media platform. What?
I don't. I think it's fascinating. It's absolutely incredible.
I mean, what do people think that means? There's obviously a demand for it, right?
Yeah, but there's also an arms race because again, like everything else, it was the new cool thing. Just like cryptocurrency, NFTs for a while were the new cool thing. Right now it's AI, as people think AI is. They think AI is like some new technology. None of this is new. What's new is having massive servers on clouds that are able to basically accumulate so much of this data and interact with millions of people simultaneously on a regular basis to be able to create and retrieve and generate new data. That's what's happening on a scale that wasn't done before. And then you having access to those same kind of systems. But like the very concept behind this, like it's not new. These are approximation simulators. They're trying to find the closest version to what you're looking for based on prompt and then regurgitating it back to you.
Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger host thousands of advertisements for these type of chatbot girlfriends, according to a new report. Wired reviewed Facebook and Instagram.
And I expect you'll see this happen. You'll see a whole bunch of people use these and just really get into them and get really excited about them, and then boom, tons and tons and tons of people are suddenly downloading these AI things. Some people will want to use them and keep using them. Some people will be like, well, that was fun, and then delete it. I'd say a lot of them. And then all of a sudden, yeah, there's not going to be people just spending hours and hours and hours. I mean, some people, I think it might be like a Tamagotchi experience almost, where they'll play with it for like, you know, a year and then be like, okay, well, I'm not in a relationship, you know, with my AI app girlfriend anymore. I mean, I stopped that. It was kind of silly.
Parent company Meta's advertisement library and found that the company had at least 29,000 ads for spicy AI girlfriend bots published across its social media platforms. Meta did not respond. I don't have any problem with this existing. I don't have any problem whatsoever with this existing. Okay, but what do you think? I mean, do you think nobody's buying it?
No, I think a lot of people are. But I think, again, I think you and every single other fucking right-wing pop culture piece of shit or red pill, you know, manosphere channel, all of them profit off keeping men sad, miserable, and then being like, no one's paying attention, no one's talking about this, but hey, look at that, tens of thousands of men are super sad that they're like not having sex, what's going on here, pretty fucked up, no one wants to talk about it, oh, this is pretty weird, 29,000 people downloaded the fake AI girlfriend app, what does that tell you? A lot of people are too scared to talk about this, women are fucked, women are cooked, yep, no woman's ever gonna get another man, because at the end of the day, men can now just replace them, blah, blah, blah. Like the very same things you're selling are the very same things pushing men into these markets. You're pushing men into that market and then complaining about the entire system and cycle. It's fucked, you know, while profiting off it, you know, while you yourself could potentially be in your own happy marriage and making millions of dollars off the empire bigotry. You're pushing tons of other dudes into this shit, which fucking, it do suck to see. Let's just say that.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We first want to give a shout out to everyone who makes this show possible. This program is produced thanks to the generous support of our Patreon supporters: Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbar Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multi Mondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bomey, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Travis McClinton, and Words Greenwood, as well as every other person you see on the screen right now. This show would not be possible without them. And if you want to join these wonderful people who make this entire program possible, simply go to patreon.com/the Serfs and you can unlock uncensored and bonus episodes and, you know, help us exist.